sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
If you're an entrepreneur and your business is not yet registered, if you're looking to grow your registered business, or you're an accomplished professional, our Elevate program supports you with access to finance, access to markets, access to capacity building. Sign up now or refer a friend at ecobank.com/elevate. Elevate by EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
Hi, Peter. Good morning. I'm Sidiko Suno from Faraba, Banta. My question to Dr. Ceesay, what is the Gambia government doing to reduce high rate of crime and knife stabbing in our communities? No country will move without strict laws to discipline the people. The man accused of taking Ibrahim Manjai's life appeared before Kanifing Magistrate Court. Instead of showing remorse, Buba Jallo smiled, raised his fingers towards the crowd, including Ibrahim's family, and blew kisses. It was very heartbreaking to watch. No grieving family should have to experience such pain and
I agree with him, and I think every government should condemn the actions of the person accused of killing. I think I can't remember the name that he was accused of killing, but the most important thing is that government is doing everything possible. And I think as a government, we've said this before, our top priority is the safety of every Gambian. No matter where you are, in schools, in homes, in streets, at workplace, every Gambian must be safe and free from violence. However, again, it's a challenge. No country can have a zero crime society. And these are challenges that we are facing, and we are doing everything possible to ensure that we Gambians are safe. We're investing so much in the police. We've bought them vehicles. We're engaging community policing, and we are doing everything possible to promote preventive crime. Where that is not possible, we will solve the crime, because the turnover is that there is no single major crime committed that is not resolved in this country, where the police apprehend the perpetrator within 48 hours. I think that's something also which is commendable. But we are aware of this problem, and we take it very seriously, and we are working very closely with the police. Recently, you've seen visibility patrols around the country where police now. Yesterday, the Oryx gang was arrested in Kanifing.
Who was?
Oryx gang, a gang who call themselves Oryx. They were arrested, yes. So the police are really taking it to the doorsteps of criminals. And I think this is a message.
This is a gang that was going around, terrorizing and traumatizing
exactly
people.
Around the Kanifing pipeline area. The police yesterday arrested them. So police is taking this very seriously, and we are.
I thought London Corner was the only dangerous area in this country.
No,
lo and behold, Kanifing had their own.
Yeah, so police is doing a good job now that this is happening. There's a special operation going on, and we are going after these people. And I think, let anybody think that if you commit a crime, the law will deal with you, and we are not taking this lightly, and we are taking this very, very, very seriously. I think that is my response.
We read every text message that comes. Good morning, Mr. Peter. I'm impressed with Dr. Ceesay's work. He informs the public with accurate information. My personal opinion is President Barrow should be given a chance to complete the work he started.
Well, I think that is the personal opinion of most Gambians, based on research.
Hello, most
Gambians. Yeah. In fact, the majority of Gambians believe that. Yeah, but he's echoing what many Gambians feel.
Or she.
That the president has
could
started.
Be a woman.
She, exactly. Yeah. The president has started a very good job. And I think what Gambia needs today now is experience, is stability, but also is continuity. We don't need disruption, we don't need inexperience, and we don't need instability. The president has laid the foundations for rapid transformation growth. The reforms are ongoing, development work is ongoing, and I think it is in the Gambia's interest. And like I said, to make sure that the president is re-elected to continue on this trajectory. And don't listen to populists who make you believe that when they come to power on Monday, on Tuesday, there will be zero crime in Gambia. When they come to power on Monday, on Tuesday, the price of commodities will go below by 100%. Then when they come to power on Monday, on Tuesday, all the problems in healthcare sector will go to zero. These are populist propaganda politicians, and they have no clue how a country is governed. And all they do is to feed on populism, to misinform the public so the public can vote for them. And when they come to power and they face the realities, and that is where now expectations, people get disappointed. We've seen that across the continent, where politicians make huge promises, grand promises, and when they come to power and they are faced with the reality, and what happens is that there's anticlimax in people's expectations. And I think government should be very wary. And I've said this before. If we make the mistake of voting in these populist politicians, we'll regret it as a country. Because right now what Gambia needs is the stability, continuity, experience, the trajectory in which we are going. It's a very good trajectory, and I think there is no point to disrupt this trajectory.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. Kindly ask the Minister, what is the fate of some of us who have applied for an ID card but have not been issued one? Now that the new company is responsible, are we going to reapply, or what are we going to do? Before you answer that, I think you owe us an apology.
Yeah.
Because in the build-up to the launch of the ID card, whatever, you said on the 29th of June, once the president launches this thing and he gets the first card, and I said to you, who gets the second card? This is the first lady, and so on and so forth. The very next day, card production starts.
Yes.
It
hasn't started. But remember also, sometimes you plan things, and due to technical, procedural, operational issues, there's a delay. What is important is that I've seen a new schedule. So that August they'll start nationwide.
So August.
Yeah, they start nationwide card issuance. And to answer his question, once you have a receipt, it's just to show your receipt and they'll issue an ID card. And let Gambians not be concerned about this ID card thing. It is already resolved. What is going to happen is that within 3 months, almost 90% of the Gambians will have an ID card, because we are going on a nationwide campaign to make sure every Gambian has an ID card at multiple locations where you are. Instant ID card production. It's not like you are going to apply and then come back tomorrow. No, instant, where you show your receipt and they check the system, everything's correct. Instantly, they take your biometrics, your fingerprints and your iris, and they issue your ID card straight away. So the thing of the ID card is already, like I said, we found a generational solution to it. It's not a problem anymore. What is remaining is just to start issuing the ID cards. And I think, operations like this are huge operations. Imagine operations where you have to cover the entire country at the same time. It's a huge operational operations, and therefore it can take a bit of a time. But like I said, we're on it, and very soon we'll be out there. There'll be schedules which shows exactly where we will be across the country, so you know your area when the mobile team is coming there, or where you should go to get your ID cards, and then just show your receipt if you've already paid, and they'll give you your ID card instantly.
Vehicle registration number plates. Why are we not producing them still?
The last time I found out, they've already brought the consumables in the country, and they are producing there was a backlog, and that's what they were producing. So they are not producing for new applications, but they are trying to kind of produce for the backlogs. I don't know how far that has gone. Let me find out after this program, and next week I'll give updates on that. I think next week I owe Gambians update on the Russia investigation.
Exactly.
I owe Gambians updates on the kidney
business registration,
the kidney
Farato,
and also the number plate. So I got 4 that I have to bring next week to inform Gambians.
Good morning, Peter. I'm not a supporter of any political party. Ooh, Dr. Ceesay will not be happy to hear that. But what Dr. Ceesay says is very true. Opposition parties should convince Gambians with what they have new to offer, or to bring in the country, different from what the current government is doing.
I've always argued this, Peter. If you're an opposition,
you are in luck today. Very positive.
You provide an
way.
alternative to the existing policies and programs, and you don't only provide alternatives. You also tell us what is not working, why it is not working, and what you are going to replace it with. They are not telling you that. They are not telling us that. All they're telling us what is not working, and again, the interesting is that they don't talk about what is working, and that's what I was pointing at. We always look at the faults. It's like someone, a human being, your friend. It could be your friend, even your enemy.
They accept that things are working. I think the opposition is, united in acknowledging the gains in the higher education sector.
But that is not the only sector. There are gains in every sector. There are gains
No,
in the
you're saying
healthcare
that
sector.
they don't accept.
Yeah, no.
That is one classic example.
Yes, no, what I'm saying is that...
I have not heard any opposition, a politician standing up and denying that we are doing well in the area of
because
education.
the gains are visible there.
Yeah.
So what they do is they go for the intangibles. They look at the reforms, democratic credentials, women empowerment, youth empowerment programs that we've had, support for farmers in agriculture for the first time. And remember, in every sector, whatever is happening there is a first time. It never happened before. In healthcare, never happened before.
What is happening in healthcare that never
in
happened
healthcare
before?
For the first ever postgraduate program, training our own local consultants and specialists. For the first time, we have a 1,500 bed
hospital.
But
they're benefiting from a system that was introduced in the Jawara era.
But
you're talking about the West African Health Organization.
What I'm saying is that, look, for the first time, we have a 1,500 bed hospital in this country. For the first time, we are going to have a kidney
That was not needed when Jawara was taking the country because the whole population was less than 150,000 people.
What I'm saying also, look at our in terms of health infrastructure, community ambulances. Look at the equipment we've procured.
Again.
Look at the A&E we have in Bansang. So all these are all first timers in the Gambia. So what is happening is that so the opposite could have been do nothing, and they would say you've not done anything. You do something, they say, well, it was not. It's from Jawara. So what I'm trying to tell you is that
the truth is, you are building on initiatives that were there post-independence.
What are those initiatives? The 1,500 bed wasn't any, but was there post-independence?
This health sector. If a health system was not put in place, you would not be singing here. You would have been going about now trying to put in place a health system. But you found an imperfect health system that you are now trying to build on.
But it could have also been that we don't build on it and just do nothing about it.
Exactly.
As
but at least suggesting this is the case in other areas.
But in other areas, we are building on everything. In terms of basic education, we are building on what is there in terms of classroom numbers and access to education. In terms of agriculture, we are building on what was there, supporting farmers with $1.6 billion. Yes. In terms of energy, we are building on by making 90% access to electricity. In terms of jobs for young people, in terms of women, support for women, in terms of, look across sectors, in terms of public service reforms, look at across all these sectors, in terms of higher education, in terms of digital technology. So we are building on everything that we found there. And I think, because we are building on that, like I said, we have three options as a country. It's either we are moving backwards, or we are stagnant and not moving, or we are moving. The fact of the matter is we are moving. You could argue to say that the pace at which we are moving is slow, but you cannot tell us we are not moving we are moving as a country. And I think even the most staunch critics of President Barrow will acknowledge in their bedrooms, when they talk to their pillows at night, that dega waji mungi ligay.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. I have two questions for the Honorable Minister, Dr. Ismaila Ceesay. One, through your own lens in the past 5 years, what are the top three shortcomings of the government and how are they planning to either address or avoid them in the next 5 years if re-elected?
Can you repeat
top
that
three
question?
challenges of this government, all right? And how you're planning, you're part of the government, you're planning to address these top three challenges in the next 5 years if elected.
Wow.
Problems you've grappled with since 2021, for instance, the last election cycle. And, identify them and how, you plan to tackle them if you make it 2026, 2027, 2028.
Well, I think one of the challenges, obviously, is the energy sector. And I think everybody knows that. In terms of generation, we've invested a lot in the infrastructure. Today, the T&D is being modernized. But what our wish is as a government, apart from making sure there is universal access for every Gambian, we want to be energy secure as a government, to make sure that all energy that we consume in this country is generated in the Gambia. And I think we've seen that challenge recently, and I think this is something that when we are elected next year, we've already even started putting systems in place. You've seen Dangote investing $2 billion in the energy sector to ensure...
$2 billion?
Sorry, $2 billion in the energy sector to ensure that
Well, 2 billion overall. The energy sector is part of this.
That's what I'm saying. So 250 megawatts plus 150 in Soma, plus the other PPAs government might go into, can take us up to 400 to 500 megawatts.
Yeah.
I
Already
think then we will
Soma
resolve that issue.
and Dangote would give you 400.
400, exactly.
There's something floating out there already.
So what government might consider doing, I'm not sure yet, but to encourage also the private sector.
Okay, so
Gambians
energy
to
is
engage
one.
it.
We don't have time.
So energy is one.
Yeah. The other challenge, top three, just three.
The other challenge,
Youth employment.
yes, youth. We've done well on that as well. We've seen recently, but we can do more, and that is why.
Because Pathway is still with us.
That is why government is investing a lot in vocational training, and that is why we're building the multi-purpose vocational training centers in Warsaw, in Charmen, and other places, but also the specialized ones in Tujereng and in Pachar, to make sure that young people get into job. That is a challenge. Young people is a challenge, but also rural urban migration is a challenge, because most of the problem that's the third one. Most of the problem we are facing today.
So rural urban migration
is connected to rural urban migration.
Energy, youth employment, or youth unemployment.
Rural urban migration. In fact, rural urban migration affects everything, because when you have more people living in urban Gambia, because there are no facilities in rural Gambia, you put pressure on urban Gambia in terms of jobs, in terms of access to education, in terms of classroom, in terms of healthcare, in terms of housing. What the government is doing, and what we continue to, is to decentralize development, to make sure that we take development to rural areas, electricity, water, schools, hospitals, so that people can live in rural Gambia.
Those things that are attracting people from the rural areas to come to the urban areas.
In fact, once we do that, that is why government's priority is infrastructure development. Once we have enough infrastructure in rural Gambia to make it conducive for people to live there, what that will do is to ease the pressure of urban Gambia, so that I will be willing to go and live in North Bank. And once I do that, once I ease the pressure, crime, housing, access to education, healthcare, all these pressures will be eased off from the urban Gambia, and we'll solve our problem. That is our focus for. So
energy, youth employment, rural urban migration. So let's go to question 2. By the way, this is from Sihungalan in Pennsylvania in the United States. I am certain you would not mention the free-falling Dalasis. He was sure you would not mention the free-falling Dalasis as a challenge. Yes, it is free-falling because every step it takes is towards the feet of the ladder, no matter how long it takes. Now, does the government have any plan or plans, or is it on any realistic route to regain the strength of our beloved Dalasis?
So the Dalasis is we live in a capital market, whereby the Dalasis worth or the Dalasis strength depends on demand and supply. And when that is happening, it's very difficult, and particularly when it is weighed against the other currencies, the euro and the dollar and the pound sterling. And once they gain value, it also affects the Dalasis. And remember, the Dalasis is stabilized against major currencies. Where the challenge is the CFA. And the CFA, and we all know it's two things. One, demand and supply. Because today, most of the goods we acquire, we buy from Senegal, and therefore there's a huge need for the CFA. But also the CFA is pegged to the euro as well. And remember, almost 4 to 5 countries in the sub-region use the CFA, from Guinea-Bissau to, I think, Guinea to Africa. They all use the CFA, and Senegal itself. So therefore...
Is Guinea not silly? Are they not using the silly, their currency?
No, I think I'm not sure.
Oh, they've joined the CFA as well?
I'm not sure. I know Guinea-Bissau is using the CFA.
Yeah.
I know Senegal is using it. I know there are a few other French West Africa that use the CFA. The CFA is also pegged to the euro, and because there's a huge demand for the CFA. Remember, particularly not most of the livestock we buy from Senegal, most of the things. So therefore, there's a huge. It's very difficult, and the CFA is the currency markets are. It's a free market. It's a free market. It depends on demand and supply. Government is looking at this.
We should do something about this black market that people now call parallel market.
The grey market.
Now it's called the grey market.
People call them grey markets, black markets, parallel markets.
Yeah, I know black market and parallel market. I never heard grey market.
It's got different names.
That's a new one.
But I don't know what the central bank should do. The central bank.
We all travel. What other countries would you go and somebody is holding a bunch of Dalasis and flagging it like
Nigeria.
Doing like this,
Nigeria.
Which it happens in Nigeria.
Most of West African countries it happens there. But like I said, I've been to Nigeria, I've been to the market, and you're able to change dollar to naira. Ghana also able to change to CD, but this is a challenge in most West African countries.
Oh my goodness.
I know that in most countries it is controlled. In fact, in most countries, particularly in Europe, you need to show your passport or an ID for you to change money. I don't know what the central bank is doing. This is a question for the central bank. It's a concern for every Gambian because it affects the price of goods as well.
Yeah.
So I think the central bank is working on it. I don't know what they have. This is something that
Find out and tell us next week.
can find and bring next week as well. But I think it's a very important issue that he raised.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. By the way, Seho Ngalan in Pennsylvania. You know Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
very
Penn State.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. Please ask Minister of Information how far with our social security money concerning Gamcell staff. They promised to pay our monies into our accounts. We have already given them our account details to Social Security, but still nothing.
Which one is that one? I'm not aware of this one.
Gamcell. Well,
Social Security.
Yeah.
I need to find that out. I'm not aware of that.
You know nothing about that. I thought Gamcell has been sold to Yona. Now it's Wise.
Not Wise, 80% of it.
80%. Well,
yes.
so government retains only 20%.
Yes.
Why is it necessary to retain that 20%?
Well, so that we still have a stake there. The telecoms is a critical sector. You cannot just give it everything away 100%. So government has to still maintain some stake there. So this is good for Gamcell. It is going to revive Gamcell. It will bring needed investment needed to revive Gamcell, to invest in the infrastructure, to invest in the customer service, invest in billing, and then Gamcell will be competitive again, because Gamcell at some point was being built out by a government by taxpayers' money, which is not right.
Call it Wisecell.
Yes, no. Before when it was Gamcell, the government was bailing it out, and across the country, across the world, telecoms governments have let go of their telecoms companies. We've seen that with BT and other countries across the world where deregulation happened, and the telecoms is given to the private sector. In this case, private sector will acquire 80%, government maintains 20%. Private sector will bring needed investment that is needed to invest in the infrastructure, modernize Gamcell to make it more competitive, so that it serves the purpose of not only providing service for the people, but also bringing necessary revenue to government. And
a lot of Gambians are celebrating the fact that it's a Gambian who holds 80% of
exactly.
the former
Gamcell. This was a conscious policy by our government to ensure that Gambians now have the stake in this. Like I said, we want to Gambianize business in the Gambia. We want to encourage more Gambians, and I think YSL is doing well, because I think they are the ones that also own Yona. So I think Yona. Yeah. So I think it's good that Gambians have a stake in Gamcell, and government still also has a stake. But also the end game is that we'll have a more modernized, more fit for purpose Gamcell.
So who do we take our hats off to? The Minister of Finance or Minister of Digital Economy?
I think Gamcell is on the Minister of Digital Economy. Okay. So obviously the commendations.
So well done, Jabi.
Should go to Mr. Jabi, to Honorable Jabi.
Well done, Jabi. What's the latest on Starlink?
Jabi can answer that question.
I'm asking you.
I don't have any latest on that.
Okay.
Apart from the fact that
will you put it among your to-do list for next
week? I've got 7 now, I think. Huh? I've got 7. I hope I'll remember.
Exactly. Well, just try to remember everything. Okay, here's a reaction. We read everything as they come. Come on, Honorable Minister. Go back to your old audios when you were in opposition and listen to yourself speaking. You were saying exactly what the opposition is now saying, and now you want to focus on the positive and not only the negative side.
I agree, because then I was outside. I didn't know what was happening inside. Now I'm inside. Now I know. I'm more enlightened now. Let me give you an example, Peter.
Go ahead.
If you haven't been to school and you are not educated, the way you communicate and what the things you say, totally different when you go and get educated, you get enlightened. If there is a hole here, if you are inside the hole, you've not been outside yet, what you'll say in that hole about what's happening outside will be different from if you go and see the light. I was in the opposition. I was criticizing government based on what I thought I knew, and at some point, in most cases, were misguided, and that is the fact. I didn't know what was happening.
Very good. So
now I'm inside.
So Barrow was never clueless.
I was inside. I'm inside now, and I've seen the reality. And I think if people should listen, they should listen to me, because I've done both. And let me tell you something, Peter.
Yeah.
One thing that I think I should thank God for, on a final note, I studied political science till PhD level. I taught political science for 15 years. I was in the opposition, and now I'm inside government. So I understand these issues. I understand how government works, not at the theoretical level, but also at the practical level, not also on the other side of the fence, but also inside. So I know. So if I speak, and I'm speaking with authority, when I was outside, I didn't understand what was happening in government. It was based on assumption. And sometimes when I see people speak right now, I see myself in them. That's how I was speaking, because I didn't. When I get into government, and sometimes, just as a confession, sometimes we'll be in cabinet, something will come up and I'll feel embarrassed. Because they were communicating about that issue when I was outside of government was really based on ignorance. And now I'm inside and I've seen the reality. I know government is not what you think when you are outside.
And when you are embarrassed, do you apologize to the president straight away?
No, you cannot apologize in those circumstances.
Okay,
but you just take it as a learning curve.
Okay.
That this is an experience for me to understand how things work inside. That is why in most countries.
So what would you
in most countries, in fact, for you to be president, you must be tested first. You must be inside and you rise through the ranks. That is why, if you remember the first civil service that it was, before you even become permanent secretary, you go and serve rural Gambia, become a commissioner, so that the experience is important.
True.
But just from outside, you think you know what is inside. Just get inside, you'll be shocked.
So what message do you have for all those young, impressionable UTG students that you convinced Barrow was a clueless president?
No, I never said Barrow was a clueless president. I don't want to go back to it. I said what the government was doing, they seem to be clueless.
You never said Barrow was clueless?
There's a difference between what they are doing, they seem to be clueless, and somebody's clueless. Go back to the audios. I said what they were doing, they seem to be clueless. They seem to have no clue in what they are doing as a government. But this was my own assessment at that time.
Yeah, and
this
the
was
question
my own
is,
analysis.
what message do you have for all those young, impressionable students then who you convinced that Barrow was clueless? His government was clueless.
To continue holding government to account and to continue speaking about what they think the government is doing. Then later they realized the truth. That happened to me. I thought I knew what I was saying. I thought I knew what was happening in government. When I came into government, I saw the light. When I saw the light, I realized that when you are outside in the dark, what you think and what you assume, and when you are inside, what you see is different. So obviously, it is what it is.
It's a mea culpa morning on Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. Good morning, Peter and Ismaila. The GPF is doing a tremendous job these days, and we congratulate them on that. The main problem, however, is the judicial system that delays justice. Let the courts expedite justice for a safer Gambia. And this is coming from Abdullah Abu Aisha Jallo from Umio.
This is Umio. This is someone who understands how government works. What government should do.
But this is someone who understands how government
how the system works, separation of powers. As a government, ours is to solve the crime, prosecute, and take it to the courts. What the courts do is left to the courts are independent. We cannot put pressure on the courts to fast-track cases. We cannot tell the courts how to sentence people. The courts decide whether they should give you 5 years or 10 years or 2 years based on the framework of the law. So obviously he's right. What the government is doing is we're solving crime. We've seen a lot of visibility along. We arrest people. We take them to the courts and the courts do the rest. So if we arrest and the courts don't prosecute in time, then the problem is not with the government, it's with the judicial system.
Good morning, Alaji Peter. To add to the challenges Dr. Ceesay outlined, I think 3 big challenges the government is facing are: 1, widespread opposition, disinformation in an election year; 2, limited expansion of the tax base; and 3, faster population growth and urbanization than economic expansion. By the way, this is from Kemo Conte.
The first one is?
The first one is, let me just say, it's from Kemo Conte,
yes,
of the NPP.
Yes.
So he says, widespread opposition, disinformation in an election year.
Well, disinformation is not only spread by the opposition. It's spread by many people. And the opposition also feeds on it and spreads it. But like I said, this is a challenge that we are facing. It is not only Gambia. In fact, across the world, all countries are facing misinformation problem. And when we go to conferences, this is something that comes up a bit. The second thing he mentioned was the rural-urban migration. Again, I've already mentioned that, I think.
Let me go to the second one. I was already, looking at the next text message. Point number 2 is limited expansion of the tax base.
So we have a solution to that. Currently, you've seen the tax revenue increase in fact, quadruple. Not because we've increased taxes, because we've expanded tax base. GR is doing that through digitalization.
It's digitized and leakages have been minimized, if not stopped.
Not only that, that is one. But two, we've also expanded the tax base as well. Many people who are not paying tax before are paying tax as well.
We're not sure about that.
Yeah.
We're not sure about that.
Yes.
Because most of this money is increased revenue from the GSM companies who were always paying from registered institutions. We're not sure about expanding.
Also, digitalized has also expanded the tax base as well.
So I think the expansion of
More
tax
people are paying
that's
tax
a
now
good point.
than before.
And the third point, faster population growth and urbanization than economic expansion, which you captured in the rural urban drift.
Yeah.
But I think that second point is.
But with faster population growth, governments always anticipate this, and you prepare for. You look at the data, look at the projections, and you make sure that you build your countries preparing for population growth to respond to the challenges. About
Guinea and the CFA, somebody says, "Good morning, Uncle Peter." Guinea have their own currency. Okay. It's called Guinea franc.
Okay, so Guinea is not there. Yeah. Thank you for that.
I thought they were not in the CFA. I thought they were still using.
I think it's Senegal, Guinea-Bissau. I'm not sure. I think Ivory Coast also. I know there are a few countries that use the CFA.
Yeah, somebody talking about a murder case that I'm sure is.
It's a new one again?
Yeah. No. I'm sure it's some Mamadou Ba guy or whatever. Listen, yeah, we can't go through all the text messages. Thank you very much for all the text messages. We haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
For a long time, it was just me and you, having a go at each other. So yeah.
So
remind me, maybe.
But it's good because this is what we want as a government: the feedback loop mechanism, where we don't only bring to the public what the government is doing, but also listen to what the public is saying, the sentiments of the public, what the challenges are out there, because government cannot be everywhere. So it's important that the people sending text messages tell us what their concerns are. And I'm very impressed and I'm very disheartened by the message we got from the students who are abroad. They could have done it differently. Yeah. Go on social media, make noise, but no, they are trying to engage.
Well, as I said, first they took it privately.
Yeah. They are trying to engage in a manner which is very mature and which is very professional.
The Minister of Finance, they have sat months, they have seen nothing, and they've decided now to escalate it.
Yes.
By making
I
it
think
public.
it is right.
I'm asking you in person.
I will do everything that I can to engage to make sure that the problem is resolved
and keep
as
them
soon as
informed.
possible. So I think this is what we want as a government.
Keep them informed.
We want the debate we want to sanitize the debate. We want to have constructive debates. You can disagree with the government in the way we do things, but it should not be personal. By telling people that you are adulterers, you are liars, you are thieves.
You're making me listen to this. To this music.
No. To be honest, telling us that we take women to Senegal every weekend. We go and do. You make styles that To be honest, Peter, I'm not offended, but I just find it funny and amusing that. And remember also, we live in a society where we're all related, and if you look at cabinet,
I think you're just
if you look at cabinet. To be honest, we've got responsible people in that cabinet with families. People who are serious people who are honest people in that cabinet. Women who are honest, men who are honest, with families who are doing a lot for the Gambian people, who have huge families behind them, who feed a lot of people in this country, who help a lot of people in this country. You are insulting those people. Say what you think. Talk about the corruption. Talk about the crime. Talk about many things in a manner in which, you don't insult people.
This is the biggest promotion advert that Nyancho could have wished for.
Well, the video has gone viral.
That Dr. Ceesay is pointing people like Peter Gomez, to go and watch this.
Yeah, you should. To know that the video is not a desirable video. Our kids should not listen to this video. In fact, some of the actions in that video, in demonstrating what the ministers do in Senegal, the actions are even bad.
Anyway, thank you very much, Doc, for coming to the program.
Yes.
That brings us to the end of the program.
Vif lay fay. Sant yàlla. looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
If you're an entrepreneur and your business is not yet registered, if you're looking to grow your registered business, or you're an accomplished professional, our Elevate program supports you with access to finance, access to markets, access to capacity building. Sign up now or refer a friend at ecobank.com/elevate. Elevate by EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.